Hey everybody! Today I want to talk about English things that America definitely needs. Now, I had always thought that the National Health Service or the NHS here in England was the only thing that was available here in England as far as healthcare. But when I moved here, I noticed that there's actually private healthcare that's offered as well. So you do have the option here to opt into some private care if you would like. In my opinion, I think that's a pretty good system actually, because you always have the option of going to the NHS if you can't afford the surgery, if you can't afford whatever it is that you need or are looking for, you always have the option, which is starkly different from what you have in America, where you have no options really. You don't even really have an option with your healthcare because it is so expensive that most people's healthcare is tied to their jobs, and their job decides what health provider they're going to go with, and what your services are, what your coverages are. And you have to just pick whatever it is. And if insurance premiums go up, they go up and you have to pay for it. And then you get the bill afterwards. And the only public health programs that are available in America are for extremely poor people, like very, very poor people, and the elderly. So it is difficult in America to get decent health care. So the hybrid system here in England seems to work pretty well, and I think it's something that would actually work really well in America. Commercials in England are freaking hilarious. I wish I would be able to show you a bunch of them because they always make me laugh, but I'll get copyrighted and all that, and you won't be, they'll cut out the segment. They're really funny. The English humor is so good at just making fun of themselves and making fun of other people and not taking themselves too seriously overall. And it definitely extends into their commercials and their advertisements. And I haven't seen one yet that has made me like cringe. I did get a set of commercials that I thought were commercials that did make me cringe, but it turns out they were public service announcements. So that's probably why they made me cringe, because I was expecting something like a funny advertisement. But overall, America could definitely take a note from England on this one, because American commercials tend to be either cheesy, cringy, or too serious. It's such a consumeristic culture, and everything is focused on, convincing us to buy something, or to think something, or to, act a certain way. And it's just not fun. It's just not fun, to be fair. And English commercials are really, really fun, and they always make me laugh. Now, in England, you can have a gun. You have to have a special license for it. You have to have all kinds of checks before you own a gun, and also while you own the gun, while you're in possession of the gun. And I believe it's only very specific types of firearms. Like, I don't think you can get an automatic weapon or anything like that. From what I understand, it's pretty strict to shotguns and very, very limited handguns. Very starkly different from anyone who's ever been to America. The gun culture in America is rampant, and the laws are definitely catered to those who sell the guns, and not to public safety. It is a very, very touchy talking point in America because of the Second Amendment, but in my opinion, it is something that should be regulated, which is exactly what the Second Amendment says, that it should be a well-regulated militia. And I think that the founding fathers would have never approved of using like random people having semi-automatic weapons walking down the street. The strict gun laws here in England, I think, are something that America could definitely learn to do better. A pub scene, and it's not the same as like a local bar scene. It's just more comfortable and casual. And it really is like geared towards family. I've been to a lot of pubs. What can I say? I've been to a lot of pubs here in England. They're fun. And I've seen lots of families with kids, of all ages. We have beer gardens, which is outdoors in the summer. So when you have good weather, you can sit outside, the kids can run around, you can bring dogs and pets. They of course have like specialty nights where they have DJs, or I saw an Elvis impersonator at a pub once. That was really cool. Some of them are really, really great with farm to table type food, and it's a really like eclectic or specific menu. It's a great place to just chill and have fun, or just to go and have a pint with someone and just relax a little bit. I've also been to pubs that are really, really just casual, and you just walk in with whatever you're wearing, with your tracksuit and sneakers or whatever you're wearing, and you just sit and have a good time. It is really, really just geared towards like everyday people and just relaxing and enjoying company that you're with. And I really think that that is something America could use on a bigger scale. There's some areas like that, some bars and pubs like that, but it doesn't have the same kind of feeling. Of course, it also helps that English pubs all have been here for like thousands of years, and it has all of that character and culture kind of built into it, and that history and stuff. But I do enjoy it very much, and I think a lot of fellow Americans would. It seems like in America, there's always an election going on of some sort. I don't really understand why it's so complicated and happens so often. There's always campaigns. They basically campaign 24/7 in America. And even when you do have big elections like we're having now with the presidential election, they started campaigning for the presidential election like a year ago. And it's just been going on forever and ever and ever, it seems like. And we still have months to go. England, they just had an election. It was called, and 6 weeks later they had the election. The prime minister took power the next day. Like there also was no like transition period where it's like in America you had a presidential election in November, but they don't actually take office until the end of January. I just think that American election system overall can be revamped by far, but particularly it doesn't need to be as long as it is. I do think people get really bored and tired of the entire freaking thing, and I think that is something in America. If they shortened some of the election cycle, I think that they'd probably get a better response out of it. And we do have these in America. It's not like they're non-existent or anything like that, but they're typically tied to like a fair or like rides and things like that. In England, they're primarily focused on food and local crafts and things and those types of things. And I really, really enjoy them. I think it's really fun. And I just do them a lot more often as well. Here, I don't know if it's just like a regional thing or what, here in England, but it just seems to happen almost every weekend. There's a food fair or a food festival somewhere in a local village or town. They're always having these kind of things. And it's all primarily, from what I've experienced anyway, it's like local farmers, local small business owners, and local craftsmen, and it's just really, really fun to see things, just to see humanity being inventive, and just to taste things that are really, really fresh. A recipe that's put together in a unique way, or a unique spin on a current dish that you might really enjoy. I enjoy it very much. I like it a lot. And especially when it's a nice day out and you can be outside all day and you can just meet local, butchers and bakers and candlestick makers. I'm not very well versed on the public transit system here and its laws. I know it used to be run by the government, and I believe now it's privatized. But there is a mandate that that it has to be offered, because they recognize that the country isn't set up for driving everywhere, right? And that comes from the age of the country, obviously. And I think that really connects the country in a way that America is just disconnected. And I personally take advantage of it very much. I love the public transit system here in England. I know a lot of people said it's gone downhill, but obviously I don't have a reference to that. So for me, it works great. I love that I can walk to the train or the bus station and get just about anywhere I have to go. It's amazing. And I do think that America should have a system like that, and I know we do in certain cities and stuff like that, but it's not widespread, it's not national, and there's definitely no kind of regulation by even local governments, let alone the federal government saying that this should be offered. So a lot of people end up being disconnected, and it's a disjointed kind of configuration in America a lot. And I think that would benefit America if we had a little bit more access to public transportation and it was easier for us to get to and easier for us to obtain. I'm not going to say, I'm not hating on all of my fellow Americans. Y'all are very funny in a lot of ways, okay? But the British sense of humor is just much more relaxed and calm. And it's more focused on making fun of yourself, making fun of other people, as I said earlier in reference to the commercials, and just making fun of life and trying to just have a laugh. It's very representative of the English culture, in my opinion, and based on my experience here. I very much enjoy it. I definitely think that because the British humor is so much more enjoyable and so much more chill, that it's actually chilled me out because I laugh a lot more, and therefore like my stress relief is a lot better, and I'm not as tense all the time, and I can find the humor in a lot of things that I might not have thought of before because I was so tense and because I was so focused on anything else. So I do really enjoy the British sense of humor. They're really funny. They like to dress up. They like to make fun of the past and even their own past and their own stereotypes. They like to use a lot of intelligence and wordplay in their comedy. And I think that it just gives a real, just robust, rounded approach to life. If Americans could adopt a little bit more of the English sense of humor, I think it would go a long way.